Hello everybody, it's VerticalSandwich. Welcome back to Let's Play Armikrog. And here we go to the second section of this deal. So it looks like this is our way out, so it really looks like we've only got two options. One is to go right. We'll give that a shot. Alright, there's this hall with astronauts and things. They have names: Jason Spear, Bob Dahl, Elliot Ballo, Skello, and then something I can't read. But what you really want to pay attention to is the colors: green, red, purple, blue, and orange. Now, those do not change from playthrough to playthrough. So, yeah. Things to note.
That looks kind of familiar.
Now, there are only a couple missable trophies in this game. And, so, one of them is to interact with all of these statues. You don't have to interact with these statues.
Inspire others to great heights, and your objectives shall be reached. A small room is a tall room, depending on where you put the floor. Although peaceful by nature, we do have some light artillery. Its operation requires a correct answer. Consider this. To travel faster, could it be best to travel farther?
Okay.
Inspire others to great heights, and your objectives shall be reached.
Another missable trophy is there's 8 panels in the back here, and they all have text you can read. You have to click on all of them. You can click and exit out, but we're going to read them because I'm me. By the way, the Neverhood gave you an entire hallway of text. It was crazy. The Blank Miner. For 7 years, I did not see Mava. Though I heard her name in passing, I did not love her because I did not know her by name. But I loved her presence in the universe, her person. Even if she knew me, she could not love me, for I was unlovable. Back in the mine, she was spared the worst of me. Though Mava would come to be the focus of my desire, my attraction to her could not be expressed by the brute that I was. I was but a few steps up from an animal. Yet my desire for her was beyond anything else I knew or loved. It was worship. I was raised in a blank mine. Blanks are slices of rock, which are held to the forehead, so a thought can self-scribe onto the surface. When a blank has been scribed, it is called a thought. How do I return? It must be the same path by which I came so long ago. The purple ball of fuzz, it rests in its crevice. Or crevasse. Zerk must touch it again for me to return, but he lies prostrate, dead. He cannot come to me. I must go to him. My thoughts go to the weakness of the rock that surrounds the purple fuzzball. With a small effort, I split the slab of rock free. It shatters on the cave floor, sending a shower of rock across Zerk's body. With it, the furball is carried until it touches Zerk. I am swimming up from the depths of the pool. My head breaches the surface, and I sit up in my old body just as the rest of the ditchmonger crew arrives. Tools, weapons, food, plants, medicine, magic, and pets. I found myself on a military base. The surface design was stark and open, leaving me few places to hide. The suns were just starting to rise, but with the forest over a mile away in any direction, I had no choice but to find a quiet building in which to hide and perhaps get some sleep. There were over 50 buildings, some teeming with activity, and others unused. I cracked the door of the closest building that seemed unoccupied and went inside. The interior was dark. The room had row upon row of shelving. The only light came in through the opaque windows that let in a faint orange haze from the rising suns. Nobody could see through those windows. A meeting in the woods. When daylight broke, I could hear the chatter of chipmunks even over my burning leg muscles. My clothes were cut to shreds from walking among the low-hanging tree branches. I decided it would be best to find a hiding place, assisted by the light of day, then rest until nightfall. I found a large nest of coiled branches just above head height in a tree. The nest was still warm, as if the occupant just left. There was no chatter of chipmunks in this eerily silent place. Then I saw several 3-inch triangular teeth lying on the floor of the nest. It was the nest of an Ithusian sawworm. I decided to find a new hiding place. Punishment and crime. We came to an area where the terrain grew suddenly steep. We struggled to ascend, clutching at trees and bushes to pull ourselves upward. The road off to our right was very tempting, but even though we were far from the mine, I still feared exposure if we walked openly on a road so close to populated areas. We climbed over a particularly large boulder, only to be greeted by a wide area of broken stones. The trees and bushes were gone, leaving us exposed. It was no use hiding. We decided we might as well go up onto the road. These don't change if you click them a second time, by the way. And there isn't a way to, like, scroll down or... Right. Maeva leads us to a narrow canyon where walls stood adorned with strange carvings I could not decipher. Every angle was perfect and the walls were smooth as glass. I realized that the canyon had not been formed naturally. The canyon walls had been carved by the Dronk. We came to a circle of polished white stones inlaid into the floor. Maeva said that in order for us to see the Dronk, the stones must be stepped on in a precise pattern. Once this was done, the Dronk would come. Her grandfather had studied these stones and eventually discovered the pattern. The pattern had been taught to her when she was a child as a sort of dance. She thought she was learning a kata, or a family ritual. Not until much later did she realize it was the key to unlocking the Dronk's stones. Maeva and I spent many weeks trying to come up with an experiment that would give us clear results to our hypothesis. Many other experiments were conducted, most of them mundane. I will not bore you with the details, but I will bore you with the results. We found that most living bodies could go without a soul for some amount of time. It may only be a few seconds, but none of the bodies could survive without a soul for longer than 2 minutes under normal room conditions. We tried a soul transfer in the winter on a hibernating hamster, and its body survived after 4 minutes without a soul, but most did not survive that long of an ordeal. There were problems with the bodies we were using in that the stopped heart removed the ability to deliver oxygen to the subject's brain. So some soul transfers were successful, but... Desperation. No water for 4 days, could be 5. Everything is empty. There is no food on this craft. P does not seem to mind. She remains healthy, but seems sad at the sight of Maeva and I starving. No more giggling. No more crystals. For a while, we could make her laugh, and she would provide the plutonium to power the ship. Alright, that's all of them. Yeah. What happens if he steps on this? Interesting.
Nice work, Beak Beak.
I don't know what that does. But what we really need to do is go into the astronaut room now. And we can see there's like these things here. And this one's green already and it matches up with the astronaut, but this one does not. Now, if I turn this one, what it'll do is rotate these 3 and change them. If I turn this crank, it will rotate these 3 and change them. If I do this crank, it'll do these 3, and it'll take this one away from where I want it to be. So let's just try this crank. No, that actually worked. So now we try this one. I can't imagine we're so lucky that everything we need is over here. It is! That's the solution? Are you kidding? Is just turn a couple cranks? Huh. Interesting. Alright, that opened the door. Alright. So the way these things work is... I cannot push him past these red blocks. So what I need to do is I need to find something that gets rid of that red block. And it just so happens this big red switch does exactly what I need it to do.
Thanks, Beaky. That really helps.
So now if I go out here, you can see that red block isn't here anymore. And I can push this guy. Now I can climb up and get this lever. Now, you don't, if you click on, like if I click on Beak here, he'll automatically get off the switch. Like so. But if I also just walked out of the room without him, he would catch up. He doesn't sit on the switch forever. So that's like all of our content from this area of the puzzle stuff. All right. Now, here's where the lever goes. All right. Well, that changed some stuff on us. Oh, also, here's the thing. So the clue about the answer, and if you see the mandibles on this gun, and you open it up, yeah, it looks like that thing that Abraham Lincoln was holding. We don't have all the information we need to solve that puzzle yet. Oh, well, I do because it doesn't change, but anyway, we can go out this way now, and that's important. I mean, kinda. It's a thing. Alright, another machine, which we're going to need to power up and get out of here. Some stuff. There's our power button for the machine. Here's some randomness.
Good day. I am Thomas JeffersANT. I must sign the Declaration of IndependANTS. I needeth me my quill. Who hath my quill?
Alright, what you wanted to notice there is check out the colors on the seals on the Declaration of IndependANTS.
Who hath my quill? I needeth me my quill.
Purple, green, yellow. We have to solve this puzzle before I forget purple, green, yellow. Not even kidding. I didn't write it down. I mean, it's in the... It doesn't change, so... But, you know. Alright, we could change the colors there, so purple. Green. Yellow. And then we have 1, 3, 2. I mean, it was 2, 3, 1, but... There you go! All that work for this. Perfect. When we come back, we have a quill. Bye, everybody.